Hello, I'm Barbara, and this is a diary of my recovery from binge eating disorder. Today is the 15th of October 2020. It's my first diary entry, but it is a long way from being the beginning of my story. My story starts probably nearly 50 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when my first binge was, but certainly while I was sort of only 6 or 7, I was using food for comfort. And I was sneaking extra food and then stealing extra food, mainly sweets and biscuits and things like that, because what I was being given to eat wasn't enough. And when I say it wasn't enough, I don't mean physically. I don't mean that I was malnourished. What I mean was that I was using food for comfort, and that developed into binge eating. And I think one of the reasons it developed into binge eating when I was still fairly young was that I began to put on weight. My parents were concerned about that, and they started me on diets. And before long, certainly by the time I was 14, I was dieting of my own accord. And so I developed a pattern in which I would feel fed up with my weight. I would go on a diet, I would do really well, I'd be really pleased with myself. I never got as far as actually reaching whatever goal weight it was I set myself. But then I would start to binge, and eventually, all the weight would go back on and more. And I have been round that circle so many times, I can't tell you. And as an adult, I have mostly been very seriously overweight, obese. I have only once had a weight in the normal, healthy bracket, but I don't think there's ever been a time when I haven't either been trying to lose weight or being aware that I was out of control with food. I've never just been able to eat normally. Consequently, my weight has varied from a low of 10 stone 4 to a high of over 22 stone. And I promise you that that is the last time I'm going to mention weight, or at least I'm going to try and make that the last time I mention weight. Because eating disorders are not about weight. They are about feelings. They are to some extent about physiology, because if you deprive yourself of food, you feel very, very hungry, and eating everything you can lay your hands on is basically a survival response. So even though we are surrounded by food and we're not going to starve to death soon, any of us, our bodies don't know that. So binge eating disorder has dominated my life, partly through its effect on my weight, because I haven't been able to do things I wanted to do. I have felt lonely, isolated, disgusted, disgusting. I have had physical problems because of my weight. I have type 2 diabetes brought on by my weight. I have had difficulty getting clothes. Even if I can get clothes to fit, they don't look good, and so on. But it's not only the weight that is a problem. The weight is one of many symptoms of binge eating disorder that brings its own problems. It has reinforced my low self-esteem, which is probably one of the things that caused me to have it in the first place. I'm a perfectionist, and I experience all or nothing thinking, which is very common in people with eating disorders, and also in people with depression and anxiety, which I also experience. So, I had to be perfect. I had to eat perfectly. And of course I couldn't. So I felt bad about myself. So then I went and binged again. So that's probably enough for this first video diary. I'm on a different path now. I've known for quite some time, I've probably known for more than 20 years that I have binge eating disorder, but I got diverted from focusing on that because I was diagnosed with diabetes. And when you have diabetes, what do they want you to do? They want you to lose weight. But just recently, I've come back to a place where I understand that the eating disorder is by far the most long-standing, and it's the most foundational of my various medical issues. But now I'm getting better. So I'll leave it a few days and then I'll post something else. Bye for now.